Hello, Legit KidLit viewers. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Alexis, and today we welcome two middle grade authors and also returning authors on our channel, Rajani LaRocca and Chris Barron.
Yes, like Alexis said, we're so excited to have you back again today. So thank you for being here. If you guys can kind of give a quick hello and intro of yourselves, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'll go first. I'm Rajani LaRocca. I live in the Boston area. I write middle grade and picture books in poetry and prose, fiction and nonfiction.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm Chris Barron. I'm a middle grade author of novels in verse and novels not in verse. And I'm a dad, and I live with my family in San Diego, where I'm a professor of English and director of this English center, which is behind me.
Very cool.
Well, thank you both for coming back with us. You are both of our, whenever we see your books released, we're going to read them. It doesn't
Have
matter.
to have it.
Yes. Must buy, must read authors. So we were so excited when we found out you've collaborated on a new book called The Secret of the Dragon Gems. We are so excited. We would like you both to describe the book in one sentence, but you have to each say a word at a time and go back and forth. So, Chris, start us off.
This is so challenging because we like to say a lot of things. Okay, sorry. It's
about
two
kids
who
meet
at
summer
camp.
and
They
find
rocks
that
aren't
very
rocky.
and
Discover. This is the worst one.
that
They
aren't
alone.
All right, that's it. That's the end. That's all we're going to stop right there.
So, I don't think I can even repeat that part. And discover. Okay, Tiffany was taking great notes there.
Yeah, here, let me pull. Here's the first part. It's about two kids who meet at summer camp and they find rocks that aren't very rocky and discover that they aren't alone.
Oh,
I feel like
here it is.
Wow. I need to know more.
Okay.
No, you don't. It's up to you.
We can just tell you brief. They
the
each take home this unusual rock, and one kid lives in Massachusetts and one kid lives in California, and then they start writing to each other because weird things keep happening.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Very, very cool.
And they begin to wonder whether the rocks are actually rocks or something else.
Yes.
Okay, so they write to each other like emails.
They write letters and emails and chats, and then they do video chats. There are lots of different formats in the book.
Very cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's going to be really cool to read. Yeah.
Yeah. So here is Rajani's website. We will link this down below, and then I'll pop up Chris's as well. But here is the beautiful cover. And then here we go.
Ooh.
Oh.
So as we're looking at the cover, which character in your book do you each connect with the most? And that would be the newest book, right? The Secret of the Dragon Gems.
Yeah.
I love this. Can I go first? I love this question because the obvious answer is for me would be Sam, right? My character that I feel so connected to. And I think I always try to write what I know. It's so cliche, but I think we do this. And there are parts of who we are in our characters. So I relate so much to Sam and his kind of nerdy excitement about geology, but his kind of inner loneliness and wanting to make friends and all the changes happening at school and moving and all these things. And even like the weird feeling of like, do I like camp? You know, even when I'm there. So all of these things are related, but I really feel connected to and relate to Tripti and so much of the feistiness of that character. And actually, I was just thinking about this, like so many of the characters in this book that are parts of who we are, and that we kind of created together. So is it fair to say I relate most to Sam, but also to everyone?
I was kind of hoping for a little spin on that question. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, so my answer is similar. So I love Tripti, the character that I created. She's a word nerd. I'm also a word nerd. I collected words when I was a kid. And yes, and I love all the characters because all the characters are some kind of aspect of us, right? But I have to tell you, another favorite character of mine is the bad guy, Sanford P. Dillaway. You get to see entries from his journal. He starts the book off, and he's got this kind of unclear, slightly sinister motives going through the book. He is the owner of the camp, and he becomes aware that something has left the land where the camp is. And so he sets out to find the rocks that Thrifty and Sam have in their possession, and it's a little bit scary. But he's got his own journey of kind of who he was when he was younger, and kind of regrets about his life in the past, and his desire, his burning desire to prove something to the world. So I love him too as a character.
Ooh.
I have to say too, that makes me think, because the other character I didn't mention is Sam's Bubby, who is just such an important part of the story, because it's like this Bubby who goes on adventures, you know, and is like right there with the characters. So I also really related to her character, and all the connections between all the characters was so much fun to create. Right.
Did you say Bubby?
Uh-huh.
Is that what you said? What? So is that like a brother, sister? What is that?
Oh yeah, so that's, you know, like a common sort of Jewish term for grandmother.
Ah.
So Sam is really close to his Bubby, and she's like a rock
that's
in his life.
precious.
And so they do like cooking together long distance, but then she gets weaved into the story in a way that's super important, you know. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I love intergenerational. Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
I like a good villain too. So.
I know, and like the backstory too.
I can't wait. Yes.
So I feel like you already answered this question in multiple ways, but is there anything else that you can share with us that makes your book unique? I feel like you've, again, shared it in many ways already with the formatting of the book and then some of your characters, but anything else you want to add?
So, okay. They're not just letters between Sam and Thrifty and video calls between Sam and his Bubby and journal entries from Sanford P. Dillaway. But there are also like YouTube videos, and we call it MeTube instead of YouTube. And there are Wonkipedia articles instead of Wikipedia. And I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff. And the other thing I will say is that this book is kind of the culmination of all the nerddoms that we were interested in when we were kids, and actually now when we're adults. Like we both love sci-fi and fantasy, and we're both people who are like, but wouldn't it be great if these worlds actually existed? And that is kind of how we feel about this book. We just kind of made all those worlds that we wished actually, you know, existed in real life.
Yeah, and I think I would add too, like, I was talking to Kayla, who's my 12-year-old, and she read the ARC. She always reads the ARCs. I hope she always will be that person. But she read it, and what she liked and said, which kind of was really cool, is she felt it spoke to her because it related to all the ways she communicates with her friends. Mm-hmm. Like kids today, you know, they're not only like, come over to my house, you know, and I know we almost romanticize that idea of like, come over, you get on bikes and you disappear for the day. And that's all great. But also they're like online with each other. they're texting, they're playing video games online, or drawing together online, or making videos. They have their own acculturation of things that is really, and I think that makes this book unique, because it captures those modalities that kids live in. And
that's cool.
you know, we didn't necessarily set out to do that, but I'm seeing that a little bit, you know, like that it's just part of it.
That's great.
Yeah, I like that. So describe your collaboration process. How did
Which
you
is
two
also
Yeah.
unique. about
Yes,
this
which
book.
is also unique. How did you two kind of come together and decide to do this book? And then, you know, how did you go about, because you're in you are completely across the country from each other. So describe that process.
I like how you describe it. I'll fill in. Do you mind, Rajani?
No, go ahead.
No, I mean, I like how you.
Oh, you want me to do it? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So I was like, okay. So Chris and I first met in 2018. We were part of a promotion group for our debut novels, which actually came out the same day in 2019. So we met kind of online in 2018. And then a bunch of middle grade authors from that group decided to get together at the Highlights Foundation and do like a little retreat. So we, like 8 of us, managed to get there. It was like a blizzard in the Northeast. It was amazing. We all showed up there like in the snow. Chris came from California, which I was like, my God, that's amazing that you made it. We all hung out and we became very, very good friends. So then we repeated that every year. We just got together every year and just hung out just in camaraderie, like no agenda other than sharing ourselves and our writing. And during one of them, I think Chris and I were just talking, and we both liked the same kind of sci-fi fantasy ridiculousness. And we were like, we came up with this idea of kids who meet at summer camp and find some interesting rocks that may or may not actually be rocks. And so we were like, oh, someday we should like write a book together, right? So then along came COVID, and during the summer of 2020, Chris was like, we should write this book. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, no, we should write it now. And I was like, well, okay. So then you go ahead, you fill in. Then what happened?
So I just, you know, like, to be overly practical, I just made a doc and said, Chris and Rajani Project of the Century, and shared it. And then we just started writing letters and kind of coming up with a story together. Because we were already good friends. We already, you know, were fans of each other's writing. So we just kind of got to work imagining, brainstorming, and just having fun with no pressure. Because I think sometimes writing on our own, I mean, just you can feel pressure, you know, in your writing projects. And especially when you start thinking seriously about it, you think towards the audience. But we kind of pulled back from that and just went at it and just tried to have fun imagining these characters. And we started with just writing in character, writing letters back and forth to one another. And it kind of went from there.
It was great.
By the way, right? I mean, we got really into it. The brainstorming part, but then the writing part, we did a lot of. I would write something, and then I would, you know, text Rajani and say, "Tag, you're it," and then Rajani would write something back. And then there were times where we actually had sessions live together, where we would do actual chats in character back and forth with each other.
That was really fun, but it was also like strangely emotional. I don't know if either of you have ever done role-playing games where you pretend to be a character and then there's kind of like not really a script, but you pretend to be another character and you're just kind of like, you know, talking in character and deciding what your character would do. And in the past when I've done that, the line between what your character is saying and what you were saying sometimes gets blurred. So like people get really emotional. They're like, why don't you trust me with that gem? And you're like, you're like, because my character doesn't trust anybody. And they're like, okay. But there were chats where Chris and I were, you know, playing our characters and writing, you know, dialogue down. And I was like, Chris, I'm sorry, she was kind of mean, like mean to Sam, but I'm not actually trying to be mean to you. Like, please don't be angry at me. And he's like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, okay, thank you. It was like really hard.
I had to go outside.
I know you held it against me. I know.
Yeah.
I love that. That sounds fun.
It was good. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay, so now we're gonna do a would you rather, but we're switching it up. Rajani will answer for Chris and Chris for Rajani. So, Rajani, would Chris rather sing every time he entered a room or dance?
I'm going to say dance because Chris is a physical being. I think he likes to just, move around. He'd rather move around than try and sing. That's my guess.
Is she right?
100% right.
All right.
Everyone in my family is like some kind of hip hop hula dance. I'm like never could dance, but I will. I'm a physical person, so absolutely true.
I love it.
Okay. Chris, would Rajani rather be covered in spiders or snakes? I'm guessing probably neither, but if she had to pick one, which one would she pick?
Okay, first of all, forgive me for what I'm about to say, okay?
Oh, no.
I'm going to say snakes, because knowing Rajani she would be like some snake queen, superhero in control of these snakes, and she would have the snakes around her and they would just do your bidding, Rajani. And
That's really good. That was good. That was a good
okay,
spin.
good.
Chris, you're right. I don't, not because I can control snakes, but because snakes are infinitely less creepy than spiders. Like spiders are like tickly all over you, where snakes are like smooth and slidey and they're not slimy at all. And also there are no poisonous snakes anywhere near here. So I'm like, I would risk the snake.
I love it.
All right, Rajani, would Chris rather spend the night in a cemetery or ride a roller coaster blindfolded?
I mean, my guess is that he would rather ride the roller coaster blindfolded because, okay, that's if he's allowed to be on the roller coaster because he's so tall. But just assuming that he's allowed on the roller coaster, I think that why would you need to be in a cemetery overnight? That's crazy. I think he's a brave guy and he could deal with the roller coaster.
What do you think, Chris?
Okay, that's true. I am brave. In fact, I was just at Disneyland with my family and I got all the way in line for Space Mountain, and it was like an hour, and I got to it and I couldn't fit. Like I couldn't get my legs in there. And she's like, in or out? And I'm like, oh, I just jumped out. But I am brave enough. But given a choice, I would probably do the cemetery because at least I'd be outside.
Whoa.
Are you crazy? Okay, I've learned something about you. His desire for the outside outweighs everything. Although the roller coaster rides are outside too.
No, I don't know. I just feel like I could defend myself, but not if I was in the cemetery. I don't know. Okay, sorry. I have to think about this more.
And I apologize for these. Would you rather are kind of hard, and I know that one was kind of random. Like I was like, what are two things that are really hard to do?
Yeah.
So, all right, last one. Chris, would Rajani rather hear everyone's thoughts or be able to be invisible?
Oh my goodness. I'm thinking, okay, I want to say invisible because, and this is because I care about you, because I feel like you have so many thoughts, brilliant thoughts going on all the time. The idea of someone else's thoughts entering your brain, which is so full of your ideas and imaginations, just seems like a lot. And then if you're invisible, you could have real quiet time where you could disappear from people and not and just do your writing and be happy.
Is he right?
Chris, you are 100% right. I think the first one feels like a curse because who the heck needs to hear everybody's thoughts? That's horrible. That's an awful idea. And the second one feels like a power. Like assuming that you can choose to become invisible and then become visible again. If you're invisible all the time, I think that would be a bummer. But also I think people would be like, what happened to her? But yeah, no, I agree with you. I would rather have the power to be invisible than the power to hear everyone's thoughts. No way. I don't need to know that crazy.
Wasn't there a movie or something? I feel like there was some kind of movie that had that where somebody could hear everybody's thoughts and it was just so much. I don't remember what it was, but sounds awful.
Well, in Star Trek, The Next Generation, the counselor, Deanna Troy, like could sense everyone's emotions, and sometimes she was like completely overwhelmed by that, and I was like, I really don't need that.
No. No.
I can already
I know
imagine
what's going on in here.
Yeah.
Got enough emotions going on in my own body, let alone.
That's right. I really don't need to take on anybody else's. I really can't.
Right.
All right. We are at poetry time. Woo, woo, woo. So you both are, I was making my own music there. You both are amazing poets. So let's put it to the test, per se, with our Wheel of Destiny. We're going to spin the wheel twice.
This is
cool.
And you're going to have 3 minutes to write a poem about or including the 2 words. All right. Do you need me to repeat that, or are we good?
No, that's fine. Just set the timer and just be prepared for bad poetry.
Totally doable. All right. Some of these words are inspired from the book, and some are just, random. Okay, so hiking.
Woo.
That's awesome.
And you can have these words in your poem or just about it. It's kind of whatever. Oh, are you for real?
Oh no.
Same word.
Hiking squared. Let's not do that.
Some math in there. Come on.
I like the applause.
Yeah.
2 words.
Oh, pets. Okay, hiking and pets. Okay, so we've got a lovely timer ready for us. We're going to play some music, and we encourage our audience to also write with us. Ready? All right, go.
Yay. Now, you also linked the wheel below, right, in our description. So anybody that wants to play afterwards can spin the wheel and make up some poems as well. Or if Chris and Rajani want to go back and look at their book wheel, they can come back to it.
Yeah, we would love to see poems in the comments below.
About 20 seconds.
Wow.
That was a fun surprise.
The timer had a sound. Sorry.
I love it.
That was wonderful. Okay. So have you both share your poems, but keep in mind that this is kind of like a warm up. So if you're doing this, you can always go back and add on to these poems later. Who wants to share first?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear what you wrote.
Okay, get ready, guys. Are you ready?
We're ready.
Okay. This is called Sweating. That time we took you hiking, the summer air sweating around us, and on your furry body, 78 ticks took a ride. The hike turned to horror as they kept crawling toward your eyes. We used water bottles as weapons, while for the first time ever, you stood completely still as we sweated anew in the summer air.
I like it.
That was so good.
That was true.
That
actually happened.
That was a true story. Oh my god.
We went out in Western Mass and we were like, la la la, and each of my kids had a friend and the boys were in front of us and they were wearing white socks and we saw black things on the socks and we were like, oh no, what is that? And they were all ticks. So then we came back, we were like, this is over. And the people, we had some ticks on us, we brushed them off. The dog had 78 ticks on him. They were all crawling and the thing is that we had to keep swiping them off and then smushing them, because if we didn't smush them, they would literally come crawling right back toward him. It was so creepy, and he was just like, what is happening to me? It was insane. Yeah, that was about a 7-minute hike.
Yeah.
That is horrifying.
It really was like a horror movie. I was like, ah! I was like, what have we done? What is going on?
Never go outside again.
Well,
exactly.
Okay, Chris.
Okay. Keep in mind, I have a lot of chickens. Okay. Chickens don't like hiking. Their beaks tired from never-ending pecks along the green weeded trail. The blackberry thorns in their feathers, beaks open in the sunlight. But have you ever seen a chicken at the end of a hike, when it reaches the viewpoint, the long lookout at the top of the mountain, its wings outstretched like it almost might fly? Sisterhood with eagles, condor-like confidence. And then at last, leaping up into the arms of its human, to be carried all the way back down the mountain.
I could listen to you both speak and write poetry all day. So calming.
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, those are both really beautiful.
Okay. Do we want to do one more round? You got another poem in you?
Sure.
What a great writing exercise this is. It's so sometimes you just need words, and that's great.
Can you
depending on what they are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not hiking squared.
I love that you both did such a different tone too. Okay.
Ooh.
We got a sigh and a from that one.
And tea.
Ooh.
So changing seasons and tea.
See, the last two didn't really inspire me, but this one kind of does. It's interesting.
Does it?
It's interesting what connects, to you.
I'm excited for a changing season. Okay, so your 3 minutes starts now.
No music this time? Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Slowly.
Okay, Alexis is a little slow.
What are you most excited about changing seasons?
I just like the different, where I live, we have all of the seasons so nicely that I love whenever, it doesn't even matter which ones it is, it's just fun to get a change. Like either the leaves falling or plants coming back alive and the grass turning green again. I just love it all.
How about the insects dying? Sorry to all the insect lovers out there. Mosquitoes, get away. Bees.
It's bad, yeah.
Bees are great. We need them for pollinating, but I just don't like them near me.
I know. Yeah.
And I'm excited for soup weather and sweatshirt weather.
Yes.
Cozy.
I do love the coziness. Fall and winter are my favorite. And tea goes right along with cozy. It's summer. Get iced tea.
Yeah. I'm into matcha right now. Drinking a lot of matcha tea.
Really? I
Iced.
need to try that. I haven't tried that before.
And it looks cool. It's like green.
It does look cool. Is it really healthy?
There are some health benefits
Okay.
to it. I also, it's the kind that I drink is mushroom tea. Like, so it's got some other benefits as well. But yeah, if you put enough sugar and milk in it, it's, takes away any bad taste. 1 minute.
Forgot to ask if you all are handwriting or typing, so we'll have to share that.
If I would guess, Rajani's handwriting, and if anybody was typing, it would be Chris, but I could be wrong. He's laughing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Sometimes it's nice to type, and sometimes it's nice to like feel the pen rolling across your page.
I just listened to a podcast about 4 ways to use paper in your writing, and it was all about the power of paper. But I'm such a tech person too. I love typing. Time.
Ah.
I turned off that wonderful groovy music. Scared me so bad.
I'm ready to make my moves. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Dance.
I ruined it.
Have to dance his way out of here.
All right. So, Chris, were you typing?
Was I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rajani, are you typing or handwriting?
Oh, I'm writing, which is sad because I can't really read my own handwriting. So when I make a mistake, you'll understand why.
Come on, doctor.
It's so bad.
All right. So, Chris, you share first this time.
Okay. As a kid in New York, I waited for the first cold breeze of fall, the humidity finally ending. It meant something all new, a chance to start again, a rhythm reconstructed. But in California, seasons have a mind of their own. Fall means dry weather and winds from the east, from the desert to the ocean. So on a dry, hot morning in October, where the rest of the world makes tea and watches the leaves change, my wife and I take our hot Earl Grey to the patio, where it's already 90 degrees, and throw our tea into the orange trees, mugs and all.
Ah.
Oh,
is that a true story?
Oh yeah. We were so mad that morning. We were like all excited. It's October. We sat down and like the sun's beating down. We're like, forget it. Go back and
Oh.
All right.
I love that. Are you ready for mine?
Ready.
Seasons change year to year, from sprouts to sun to leaves to chill. But seasons also change in lives. I went from sneaking sips of your tea, the large cup hot in my small hand, to gratefully accepting your care brewed on the stove with milk and sugar and spice, to now, when you ask me to make it for you because you say I make it best. Oh boy, can I read this? Strong tea, warm spice, milk and sugar and wishes, all prepared with love as seasons change for us.
Wow. True story also.
Yeah, that's my dad. Used to be the chief chai maker, and now they're like, you make it best, my parents. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll make it.
That's
So
so
precious.
sweet. Oh,
That's great.
what a fun way to end.
Seriously, that was calming and like
It was.
beautiful.
That was really fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you both again for joining us today. And we are so excited about your new book coming out together. And we hope all of you readers are going to go grab a copy. Are you both doing author visits or anything this school year? And
Yes, the fall is already getting filled up.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
It's exciting. Yeah.
Websites.
Yes, and we're gonna by the time this airs, I think probably we will have done a lot of the traveling we're going to be doing for this book. But yeah, we're going to be doing some events together, so that'll be fun. But we love this book, and we're really happy that it's out in the world.
And we're excited to talk to, author visits and talking to, young readers and teachers about collaboration. And it's just fun. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right.
I know I'm looking forward to the book. I can't wait to get my hands on it. So.
I know. It's going to be great. All right.
I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you. We will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.